Hey guys, welcome to Crazy Days. I'm Wanda, and today we're going to start with a book review on Compost Everything. This is by David the Good. Now, I kind of like David's attitude. His quirky craziness comes out in his book. Now, he starts off in Compost Everything by telling you you can compost a ridiculous variety of materials in a wide range of outrageous ways. Food for your soil is everywhere, and it is. It's everywhere. People just throw away so much stuff. It's time to compost everything. He gives 32 reasons to compost, and let me just give you, number one, it saves money. Number two, it releases your inner fairy godmother. That one's kind of funny. You turn mice into horses, pumpkins into carriage, and kitchen scraps into black gold. So that's where he's going with the fairy godmother thing. Compost makes your plants happier. It reduces household waste. It's enjoyable. It builds the soil. It saves water. It puts microorganisms in your soil. It's a slow release fertilizer. I mean, he gives all these reasons in here for composting. To make compost, you mix 1 part of green material with 1 part of brown material. Really simple, right? Okay, your green materials are your nitrogen-rich waste, such as manure and kitchen scraps, and your brown materials, such as your shredded paper, your leaves, and your wood chips. Very, very simple. Make compost. Mix 2 things together, right? But there's all these rules, and he lists them. You can't do meat, you can't do bread, oil, paper, sawdust. You got to put motion detectors in for rats. You got to put hardware cloth around it. You've got to have a barrel, you've got to have an aerator, you've got to have a thermometer, you need a worm bed, you know, you need a countertop composter. There's all these things that people tell you you have to have. At the basic level, composting is just letting things rot, right? So he started asking questions. What can I compost? Can I compost all these things? And he said if nature can do it, it can be done. The real silliness in this fight to make the perfect compost through science is that nature recycles organic matter into compost all the time without tumblers, cranks, bins, sifters, pitchforks, garden hoses, and thermometers. Nature doesn't need it. You know what she does? She throws it on the ground. So he took throwing it on the ground and took it to the next level. He said if it's in contact with the soil, it will break down. Here in the Deep South, we know that because we can throw anything on the ground and it's going to break down within 24 hours. Our humidity is crazy. The bugs, the insects, everything attacks anything you put on the ground. I could go out there right now and lay a board on the ground and go back tomorrow and there would be insects all under it, building tunnels and stuff, and eventually within a few months they would eat into that wood and it would be gone. So I know making compost here in the Deep South shouldn't be a huge problem. Now in his book he talks about using manure, how to make your own worm bed, composting with chickens, what to do with your trees, like if you have lots of trees outside, how to take care of the leaves, the limbs, what to do to make the stuff you need for your compost. He also talks about if there's a way to complicate things, and that's what he's talking about with all these bins and equipment and stuff. Somebody's going to be made a YouTube video and they're going to tell you how to do something really difficult and time consuming when composting really shouldn't be that difficult. It shouldn't be. So guys, compost everything. You've got all this stuff around your house. You've got wood chips or you've got leaves, you've got mulch, you've got all kinds of stuff. You've got manure and things, kitchen scraps. It's endless. Turn it into compost. That is something that in the future you're probably going to need. It's not going to be as readily available to get fertilized as you would think. So he gives some great examples of how to compost without all the fancy bells and whistles, and you might want to try it. It gets rid of a lot of things that you're just letting collect up. Compost it. That's it. Compost everything. David the Good has a YouTube channel. You can check him out. He talks about how to compost. He does great with food forest and all this kind of stuff. He has a lot of things going on, but composting. He even talks about Grazon. He was the one that contacted us after we had the Grazon episode in our greenhouse. And he gives you a little bit in here on Grazon, but he talks about it on his channel also. Grazon is a chemical that is put on hay before it's harvested to kill weeds. And your animals eat it, your goats and your cows and stuff, and then you turn around and use their manure in your garden. We didn't think it was a problem because if a cow can eat it, why can't you use the goat manure or the cow manure in your garden? Well, we found out right quick what happens. The last 2 years we've had problems with Grazon in our gardens and in our greenhouse before Danny finally figured out it was the manure that was causing issues. So David the Good and many other people that he mentions on his channel have found this out. They're talking about it also. And if you'd like one of these books, Compost Everything by David the Good, I think you can find it on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. Go check out David's channel, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you from Crazy Days.